And hello there you guys, and welcome to the channel if it's your first time here. I'm Animal Introvert, and in this video we're going to be giving some ants some new bigger homes. So let's get into it and roll the intro. Haha, I bet I got you with that little teaser there. But anyway, before we get on to the rehousing or expansion rather, there's a few things we have to go over. Firstly, I'm going to be showing you two colonies that you will never be seeing again. Secondly, colonies that you won't see in a long time if they end up being successful. And third, the ants that will be the primary focus of this video. So let's get on with the first category, and yep, here we go. So that was just a prop test tube. Firstly, we have the remains of my Chromatogaster colony. Now you saw her in the update and you saw her that she had a giant pile of pupa, but you can actually see her dead on the cotton. She got stuck, and I should have known to unstick her. However, her pupa did survive. As you can see, there are a few workers actually in there. So how the mighty have fallen. Yes, and they are actually taking care of the last few bits of brood that she left behind. And so then the second queen that you won't ever be seeing again is a queen I love and cherish until she dies, and then long after. It is this Campunatus queen. She has been around all year. We have seen her go from nothing to pupa to sadly male ant. She had failed to mate, but she was still able to lay eggs because of how the ant reproductive system works. Unfertilized eggs become males. And now onto ants that you won't see for a little while. Firstly, we have this little orange queen that I believe to be Phaedoli bicarnata. She has a pile of eggs. This is my second time trying to keep this species. The first time did not go so well. She kept laying eggs like this one, and then the eggs would disappear, either by being eaten by mold, bacteria, mites maybe even, that I couldn't find. And yeah, the eggs just never took hold, so I'm hoping that this time it goes a little better. And we also have a replacement for the Chromatogaster colony. Now, you probably won't see her till next year. Probably won't see either of them till next year, because Chromatogaster queens usually will not lay eggs within the same year that they dig the claustral cell, which the test tube simulates. So yeah, I have high hopes. Both my friend and I were able to catch a queen. They are beautiful, glossy black, but we were both able to catch a queen in a massive nuptial flight. There were queens everywhere. Yeah, we were both able to catch one each. They're just really beautiful, and I hope that they both succeed in the future. But anyways, now on to the ants that are the main focus of this video. And firstly, we have here a wonderful Formica subcericea colony. They will be getting not an outworld, but like a test tube portal that will be like a small outworld until they actually graduate to something bigger. Yeah, they are plentiful, and they're on the medium ant scale, like less than a centimeter, but greater than half a centimeter. And then we have some Campunatus castaneus, or reddish carpenter ant for their common name. Now, these are beautiful, bright orange. I love them. So like the name suggests, they're orangish red, and I just really love their color. So now let's get on to setting up their outworlds. So I've got first, I'm just gonna have an example outworld, and then the other one I'm gonna clean off camera. So here's the example outworld. As you can see, there's actually a dead queen in there, caught on one of the pieces of cotton. Now, these pieces of cotton, you're just gonna wanna throw away, all right? They're not good anymore. You can't use them because they have the old pheromones on them, and also they're gonna be ripped up and weakened, most likely. Also, I'm gonna wanna get rid of the sand, and also that little feeding tray, and of course, the test tube, because we can't use that. because that will have the most pheromones in the entire setup. And also, it's just full of mold. So firstly, I'm just going to go ahead and take out the feeding tray and take out the cotton, unplug the test tube, and then I am going to, I'm gonna go ahead and dump that sand out. Of course, here I also will be taking off the piece of cotton with the queen and showing the queen to you. Just gotta get all the sand on the other side so that I can actually take that piece of cotton out, as well as the test tube. So we have the test tube and we have the adapter, which I'm showing you here, which will also need to be cleaned. And then of course, we're gonna have to, there's the old queen. So now we're going to go ahead and dump all that sand in the garbage. So now that I have this empty test tube portal, I'm going to go ahead and wash it out. Now you can use soap, however, a rinsing with hot or cold water should be fine. Just make sure it runs through the holes and make sure you dry it completely. And if you do decide to use soap, make sure you wash it until you rinse it out, until you cannot smell the soap anymore. So and then of course, just gotta go ahead and clean it off, or dry it up. Dry it off. I can't do English. Dry it off so that the ants don't get stuck in the water pools, they don't drink from it, because this is tap water, which can be deadly, which is deadly to ants, or can be if drinking too often. So now we're gonna be needing some cotton balls to stick in the ports of our newly emptied outworld of sorts. Sorry, it's a bit out of frame. I was just having a hard time looking over the camera. I don't know, when you're filming, you're supposed to look at whatever you're doing through the camera. I'm just not that good at it yet. Then you're gonna have to go ahead and do that, and then you're going to want to get a feeding tray. This is the one that I took out. Also, you're gonna wanna clean these. You can reuse them, or you can just make new ones. But if you use soap, just make sure you wash it till you can't smell the soap anymore, and they do dry off fairly easily. And I'm gonna be giving both some honey, and I'm gonna be needing a little toothpick, or rather this is a cut off piece of skewer. So now that I have all this, I'm gonna go ahead and get some of the honey. And with my jar, it kind of just comes off on the little lid bit. So I just kind of scrape a bit off of there, nice piece. And I just go ahead and I put it on the little feeding dish. And then I go ahead and use tweezers to then put the feeding dish into, tweezers, put the feeding dish into the little outworld test tube portal. And then, just adjust it as much as you like. And also you can put an adapter on the test tube, but now we're just gonna go ahead and put the lid on. You can do open setups like tubs and tube setups, which I'll go over in the future, not sure quite when, but the best barriers for that would be like baby powder or like petroleum jelly, but the best would be Fluon, although Fluon can have some fumes that are not harmful to us, but can be harmful to other pets in the house, but not to ants. And this one will be going to the Formica subcericea. So and we're gonna wanna go ahead. And then of course we also have the reddish carpenter ants, the Caponotus castaneus, I believe. But we're gonna be giving this one to the Formica subcericea. And then I'm gonna go ahead and connect them. And then, boom, there we go, connected. They shouldn't be able to get out, but if they do start picking at the cotton, oh, by the way, you never wanna use the old cotton because it will have, like I said before, the pheromones. With the other, actually, no, wait a minute. This is the Camponotus. Yeah, Camponotus, reddish carpenter ants. I remember because the carpenter ants went in that side, and then the subspecies went into the other side, so that they kind of went like a crisscross, so that was more space efficient. Space efficient. Yeah, then I'm gonna go ahead and move these girls off to the side, put them up on their shelf. And then of course I have the Formica subspecies as well. And then I'm not gonna show this one on camera, but I do basically the same thing. However, it went a lot faster because I didn't have to cut off some of the pieces of cotton that were attached to ants or garbage. And yep, there they are, nice and settled in. Well, not settled in quite yet, but nice and connected. Yeah, they're always gonna be a bit skittish at first, but then they're gonna come out whenever. Yeah, see, this is the old cotton. It didn't have as much like connected in. But yeah, here they are up on the shelf, and then look at them, they're already starting to come out. This is the Formica subspecies, if you could not tell. And yeah, I really enjoy keeping ants like these, because look at them. This is not sped up. Like, they're actually moving this fast. Like, this is their normal speed. Can we just take a moment to appreciate how fast they're going? Just really quick. I mean, like, it's really fast. Like, and here they are eating the honey, just checking up on them. They don't seem all that stressed, which is good. That means they're settling in nicely. And sometimes it takes a little while, like it did for the Camponotus. The Camponotus took a little bit longer than the Formica. It tends to depend on size. If it's a really large or really small species, they tend to be more skittish, because small species, they'll typically have more workers, but they're smaller and weaker by themselves, and they typically only send out like 1 or 2 at a time until they find something like a food source. But then also the larger species, they have less workers to use, but the workers are larger. So yeah, they're still a bit more skittish because of size of individual or size of colony collectively. But then mid-sized ants like these Formica ants, which are kind of in the middle of the ant size spectrum where I come from, the US. So yeah, they're kind of in the middle of that spectrum, and give me a second. I'm having technical difficulties. And we're back. Sorry about that, guys. The camera's little like holder broke. Not broke, it kind of like turned itself off. But where was I? Oh man, I just completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, where I come from in the US, their Formica ants are kind of on the middle of the size spectrum. And they also grow faster than the large ants. And they're also bigger than the small ants. But yeah, you can see that the Camponotus are just a bit more skittish. They're staying in that test tube. But then over here I come back, and the queen is out of the test tube eating the honey. If this happened out in the wild, she'd most likely be eaten. She'd probably be dead. I guess they just felt really secure. Given she does have a lot of workers, but this is still a very risky move. This has only ever happened once before with my Camponotus colony. And I thought it was a one-time thing, because some of the cotton had been out in the test tube that I'd taken out because it had a bit of brood in it. And I thought that they were just going out to get it, which they were, but it didn't happen to any of my other colonies. It didn't happen to Tetramorium. Of course, it hasn't happened to the other Camponotus yet. And it never happened with my fully grown 4-queen wild cotton colony. But yeah, then checking in a little bit later, you could see that, yeah, Camponotus did decide to come out. A couple of them. There are between 5 and 10 Formica workers, and between like 5 and 10 Camponotus workers. But there's less Camponotus workers. Like, I believe there were 7 at one point, but then like you could see when you looked into test tube, if you looked closely enough, there were some corpses. That was my bad. No, I didn't kill them on purpose. It was kind of a bit more passive. Like, that just means I didn't give them enough space or enough food quick enough. But yeah, so after a little bit, they were totally fine. The queen had, the Subceresia queen had gone back into her test tube. And then here's what I saw a little bit later in the night. Like when I came up a little bit afterwards, like I saw everything calm down. The honey was like completely gone from the Formica subceresia. There was still a couple workers on the honey over in the Carbonatus area. And then next time it clips over, it'll be to what I saw in the morning, and then just use my fingers for size comparison here so you can see how much bigger the Carbonatus is. Maybe like the workers of the Carbonatus were like twice as big as the workers from the Formica, and then the queen of the Carbonatus was like, the queen from the Formica was like 2/3 the size of the queen from Carbonatus. But anyways, yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Please do consider liking the video if you enjoyed the video, I guess. Like, if you liked the video, then like the video. It's pretty simple, it's free, and so is subscribing. You should really, please consider subscribing. I only have a few subscribers, and I've been out for over a year now. So just please consider joining our YouTube family and just helping this channel along. And if you subscribed, well then, that means you want to see more. And the best way to help you see more is to hit that notification bell and turn all notifications on, because that, like ants, makes it efficient. You hear about it as soon as it happens, or whenever you look at your phone, or you log on to YouTube, you see the little bell, you click it, and you see, oh look it, there's Animal. He uploaded again. Good job. I'm gonna go watch that now. You don't have to be your top priority. Just have to be up there. Just appreciate it if it was there. And also, please consider commenting. Like, these two colonies need a name. So, reddish, carpenter ant, and black formica ant. Yep, here's what I saw the next morning. And also, please share this video with your friends, enemies, and frenemies. And remember to comment some names for the channels. If you really need to, just put reddish carpenter ant and black, or just put red, orange, or red ant, and then black ant. If you need to. Or smaller ant. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you enjoyed. Share this video with your friends, enemies, and frenemies, please. And much of it out.